Shalom, Royal Family. The class you are about to hear is taught by the Honorable Yudhe Beit Nun Sophie Yudhe many years ago. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Visit us at www.yahweh144000.com. Also, Royal Family, you can enroll in classes designed for the Godhead at www.universityofyahweh.org. And also, Royal Family and friends, we want to share with you Yahweh's Keys to Riches. And on that YouTube channel, you can listen to Yahweh's daily word and keep up with the correct solar time each and every day. We'd like to see you there as well. Go to Yahweh's Keys to Riches. It's in the description below so that you can join us there as well. Remember, when you get there, just like here, remember to like, share, and subscribe to our channels. All right, Royal Family, we look forward to seeing you there as well. Enjoy.
Our guest today, live from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, by way of Miami, is the Honorable Yahweh Ben Yahweh. Yahweh Ben Yahweh is the author of many great books, such as Yahweh's Pure Mathematics, Let My People Go, Yahweh Judges America, You Are Not a Nigger, and the book destined to be the best-selling book next to the Holy Bible, How to Move from Poverty to Riches. Over the past 10 years, Yahweh Ben Yahweh has built a $250 million empire for the people of Yahweh. On November 7, 1990, Yahweh Ben Yahweh, Judith Israel, and 15 members of the Nation of Yahweh were arrested in a nationwide roundup by the U.S. government on the word of a convicted serial killer named Robert Rozier. Yahweh Ben Yahweh, there's been an article circulating from the Miami Herald that states that Robert Rozier, the star witness in the Yahweh case, have admitted to lying. Can you give us an update on that, sir?
And on this past Wednesday, he admitted. Can you hear me? Okay, he admitted to a federal jury that he lied and that this incident ever happened. He said the government believed that he had very valuable information. So what this did was prove to the government, America, the court, and everybody that I and my co-defendants are here on trumped-up charges at the behest of those who are trying to stay out of jail. In each instance where the sons testified against their mother, Sister Judith, they were convicted drug dealers, convicted drug users, and the government paid them tens of thousands of dollars to come in and lie on us and her own sons. That's despicable and disgusting for the United States government to do. And in the other instances, the same thing. It's all liars, people who are jealous and envious, who are seeking revenge against those who wouldn't follow them in their wickedness while they were here, and murderers and criminals who are our accusers. And these are the bedfellows of the prosecution for the United States government in this case. So, yes, Robert Rozier admitted that he killed 7 people while here among us. But the government tried to keep us from getting the information that this man killed several people before coming in our midst or among us, confirming that he is a serial killer. And of course, at that moment, when he confessed to lying, the case should have been thrown out. Because in reality, when we turn to Acts chapter 23 and look at verse 13, I want you to get the shock of your life. That's all of you pencils and paper. You write down the book of Acts, chapter 23, verse 13, and let's look at verse 12 and 13. And when it was day, certain of the Jews banded together and bound themselves under a curse, saying they would neither eat nor drink till they had killed Paul. And they were more than 40 which had made this conspiracy. And they came to the chief priests and elders, like the government, and said, we have bound ourselves under a great curse, and we will eat nothing until we have slain Paul. So here is an instance in the Bible, in the New Testament, of where men actually conspired, the conspiracy to destroy a man of God. a servant of Yud-Heh-Wah-Heh. And we also have one in Numbers chapter 16, verses 2 and 3 in the Old Testament. That's where 250 men banded together in a conspiracy to destroy Moses. Let's look at Numbers chapter 16, verses 2 and 3. And there rose up before Moses with certain of the children of Israel 250 princes of the assembly, famous in the congregation, men of renown. And they gathered themselves together against Moses and against Aaron, and said unto them, You take too much upon you, seeing all the congregation are holy, every one of them, and the Lord Yud-Heh-Wah-Heh is among them. Wherefore then lift ye yourselves above the congregation. So here you have people, 250 in the book of Numbers, who were full of jealousy and envy, and came together in a conspiracy, 250 strong, to destroy the servants of Yud-Heh-Wah-Heh. Then you come 2,000 years later, when Christ is walking, or after he was walking, and here was a conspiracy of 40 people telling the same story to get rid of the servants of Yud-Heh-Wah-Heh. So we have that same thing going on. Here is a man confessed it, and they didn't throw the case out there, carrying it right on, just like that does not make any difference. That is the latest.
Yes, sir. I'd like to remind the audience that the difficulty that we had with communication when the program was or it is cleared up at this point. And the question was concerning the revelation of the star witness in the trial of Yahweh. His name is Robert Rozier. I'm sure he's a nationally known figure at this point. He have admitted to lying in open court as to all the allegations that he made against the nation of Yahweh. Now, Yahweh ben Yahweh, our next question is from a member in our listening audience. And she states that since Satan, the son of Lucifer, deceived the whole world, does that indicate that there's a group of people here on earth ruling as Satan?
Yes, it does. First, let's turn to Revelation 12:9 and read where she's coming from, and then we'll go to more. Revelation chapter 12, verse 9. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. Now, let us go all the way back to Genesis chapter 4. And we're going to take a look starting at verse 11 and go through verse 15. And now art thou cursed from the earth, which has opened her mouth to receive thy brother's blood from thy hand. Okay. When thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto thee her strength. A fugitive and a vagabond shalt thou be in the earth. Cain said unto the Lord Yud-Heh-Wah-Heh, My punishment is greater than I can bear. Behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth, and from thy face shall I be hid, and I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth. And it shall come to pass that every one that findeth me shall slay me. And the Lord said unto him, Therefore, whosoever slayeth Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold. And the Lord Yud-Heh-Wah-Heh set a mark upon Cain, lest in this finding him should kill him. Now, we go all the way over to the New Testament, and we'll read about the children of that wicked one. We see that. Let's go to John chapter 3, verse 10. Now, we know that Cain is the seed of that wicked one that was sown between Lucifer and Eve in chapter 3. In chapter 3 of Genesis, you have the first trial. That trial was conducted by Yud-Heh-Wah-Heh for the transgressions of Adam and Eve and the serpent. And then at that moment, in chapter 3, verse 15, Yahweh said that he would put enmity, hatred, between the seed of the woman and the seed of the serpent. So the serpent had his seed through her, who was Cain, and Adam had his seed through her, who was Abel. So Cain killed Abel as a wicked seed. The woman was called Eve, the mother of all living, but those two men had two different fathers. The father of one was Adam, and the father of Cain was Lucifer. I'll say that again so you get that very clear in your mind. Now, in John chapter 3, verse 12, it says clearly, not as Cain, who was of that wicked one, and slew his brother. And why did he slay him? Because his own works were evil and his brother's righteous. So here we see that Cain was not of Adam. Neither was he the same seed as Abel. They had two different fathers. The father of righteousness is clearly stated here in verse 10. John, chapter 3, verse 10. In this, the children of God, Yud-He-Wav-He, are manifest, and the children of the devil. Whosoever doeth not righteousness is not of God, Yud-He-Wav-He, neither he that loveth not his brother. Okay? So here you have two different fathers clearly proven here in John chapter 3, verses 10 and 12. Clearly. Now, the descendants then are still being discussed here in John 4,000 years later. The descendants are being discussed. Therefore, Cain had descendants. When we go back to the ungodly seed of Cain is also in chapter 4 of Genesis. It starts listing them. So Cain had children, and all of his children are of his mindset. It says here, after the mark in verse 16, Genesis chapter 4, verse 16, and Cain went out from the presence of the Lord Yud-He-Wav-He, and dwelt in the land of Nod on the east of Eden. And Cain knew his wife, and she conceived and bare Enoch, and they began to build, and they built cities, and right there they built cities, and called the name of the city after the name of his son Enoch. So that was the name of the city, of the first city of Cain. They've been building cities ever since. When you build a city, it's filled with population, and his population was of his descendants. Now, let's go to John chapter 8, verse 44, and we'll see that the Son, or at least Christ, was talking to the descendants of Cain. Let's go back and look at this. John 8, 44. In verse 43, he said, why do you not understand my speech? Why do you not understand what I'm teaching? Even because you cannot hear my word. Ye are of your father, the devil, and the lust of your fathers ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar, and the father of it. And in verse 47, it says, Christ is talking, he that is of God heareth God's word. You cannot hear them because you are not of God, Yud-He-Wav-He. So you have only two families on the planet Earth. There are only two families in the conclusion of this answer. And that is, you're either of God or you're of the devil. That was in John 3:10. There's only two families, two kinds of people on this earth, regardless of your race, your creed, your color, your religion, your politics, your economic status, your social status, your spiritual beliefs, or your education or fraternity or sorority that you belong to. It doesn't make any difference. There's only two kinds of people on this planet, and those that are of the devil and those that are of the Creator, Yud-He-Wav-He, Yahweh, good or bad, those who love the light, those who love darkness. And I am come that all of you, regardless of your race, creed, color, religion, or whatever you use as an excuse to fight each other, I'm here to reconcile all of the children of good into one family. Revelation chapter 7, verse 9. Turn to Revelation chapter 7, verse 9, and I will read for you. And this, after this I beheld, and lo, a great multitude, which no man could number, of all nations, and kindreds, and people, and tongues, stood before the throne, and before the Lamb, Yud-He-Wav-He, Beth Nun Sophit, Yud-He-Wav-He, Yahweh ben Yahweh, clothed with white robes and palms in their hands. Now all the nations are going to end up back wearing white robes. There's no way to get around it. Long years ago, everybody on the earth was wearing long clothing. Now they're wearing bikinis, all out in the public, and mini skirts to show everything they have. But of all who are the good, regardless of your race, you're going to be wearing white robes, or you will be destroyed with those who don't.
Yahweh Ben Yahweh, this question is from a lady by the name of Edna in Cary, North Carolina. And she states that she has heard her friends mention that the Federal Reserve System is a privately owned system, and she would like for you to expound on that, and she says she'll be listening in.
All right. The Federal Reserve System is indeed a privately owned system. It is masquerading under the title Federal Reserve System. And by giving it the title, a false title, federal, naturally the public, the masses, the ignorant, believe that this is something owned by the federal government. And there's absolutely no correlation whatsoever. And the fact that it is privately owned, then and hiding under the title federal, it means the people that own it have something to hide. And what they have to hide is that they control the destiny of the people in this country. And they not only control the destiny of the people, they control the government itself. Because the government exists two ways. One, out of the pockets of the people as a parasite. The government is an absolute parasite, living out of the pockets of the people, called taxes. Now, taxation of the citizens is unconstitutional. It is absolutely forbidden by the Constitution. So all of those who are representing the people in this country as the government know that they're operating independently from the people while giving the illusion that they allow the illusion that they own the Federal Reserve System, knowing full well it is privately owned. And you can easily find out who those people are. Well, I shouldn't say easily, but you can find out who it is that owns it. And naturally, the government, answering the next point where they get their money from, is from the Federal Reserve System. What does that mean? It means that the privately owned bankers loan the money that the government doesn't get out of your pocket to do whatever they want at big-time interest. Now, of course, the taxpayer, the citizen, through the government, has to pay the interest to the private bankers who own the Federal Reserve System. And now, without you voting on the government getting this money from the Federal Reserve System, you still are tied to paying it back. And by you being ignorant, then you are being taxed by an unconstitutional government, number one. And by you being divided from yourself, even because the word says, even Satan's house divided against itself cannot stand. Mark 3:24 through 26. Mark chapter 3, verses 24 through 26 tells you very clearly that even the devil's house can't stand divided against itself. So how can God's house stand divided against itself? So Satan, through Revelation 12:9 as an example, deceiving the whole world, has the good people, the righteous people, the house of God, thinking that they're hopeless and helpless, and they can't get any help or any hope. And then Satan has stepped in to make you think that you're going to go to heaven somewhere off this planet, thus allowing Satan to rule on the planet, when in fact the Garden of Eden was on the planet. And the earth is made to be inhabited forever, according to the scriptures. Ecclesiastes 1:4, and Isaiah 45:18 tells you the earth is made to be inhabited forever. And for you who are mistakenly deceived by the devil that heaven is going to be somewhere else, you'd better read the apocalyptic book, Revelation 21, verses 1 through 4, which will clearly tell you that New Jerusalem is not off the planet, but is coming down from heaven to the planet. And that you're not going to die and go to some other heaven. New Jerusalem is coming down as heaven, with the God of heaven being here on earth with men forever as the light of men. That God of heaven is Yud-Heh-Wav-Heh. I represent this God of heaven, Yud-Heh-Wah-Heh. So here you are thinking you're going to die and leave the planet and your soul go somewhere else, when all the time heaven is on the planet. So therefore, Satan has deceived you on every hand. And here you are paying money to illegal governments on the earth. I come and Satan is being revealed. The sons of perdition are being revealed. That's why I'm in prison, is because I'm revealing these truths to you. The reality is that Satan is ruling heaven by violence. He took it by force. Matthew chapter 11, verse 12. Let me read that to you. You who think heaven is somewhere else. Let me show you. He's been here all the time. Where have you been going to church? Or what has your preacher been doing? Here it is. And from the days of John the Baptist, this is Matthew chapter 11, verse 12, until now, the kingdom of heaven suffereth violence, and the violent take it by force. So you have the violent one, the wicked one, Satan, Lucifer's children, Cain's children, who are ruling the earth. They're all devils, and they're all colors. They're black, brown, red, yellow, and white devils. Don't let anybody tell you that just white people are devils. They're lying. Oh, no. Oh, no. The slickest devil is black as a coal. He's in every group. Black, brown, red, yellow, and white. All of those colors are full of devils. And those are the wicked ones. And the governments that they have set up and been allowed to set up these last 6,000 years are called government de facto. There's only one legitimate government on the planet, and that is government de jure, the theocratic government, the government that I am come and setting up as the microcosmic nation of Yud-Heh-Wah-Heh. Let me tell you through your question, the shock. Now is the judgment of this world. I'm coming to you from John chapter 12, verse 31. Now is the judgment of this world. The prince of this world shall be cast down. The wicked seed of Cain was warned to judge not, lest you be judged. Matthew chapter 7, verses 1 through 5. Judge not, lest you be judged. Cain, seed of Cain, and that the same judgment you seek for Yud-Heh-Wah-Heh, Beth Nun Sophit Yud-Heh-Wah-Heh, me, Yahweh ben Yahweh. This same judgment is going to be given to you. The wicked seed of Cain is seeking a death sentence of 60 years for me. When you add that to my incarnate 56 years, that's a total of 116 years old before I could be released. That's a death sentence that they are seeking for me in this trial. Now, since all power and authority is given unto Yud-Heh-Wah-Heh, Beth Nun Sophit Yud-Heh-Wah-Heh, that's me, Yahweh ben Yahweh. Since all power and authority is given unto me by my Father, Yud-Heh-Wah-Heh, then he is now removing, I am now removing the mark of divine protection, which is Wav, which is also the number 6. Wav is the Hebrew word for the 6th Hebrew alphabet. I'm removing this divine protection in my name, which is the 3rd word of my divine holy name, Yud-Heh-Wah-Heh, and that 3rd is why I gave him 3 sixes in Revelation chapter 13. That's why I gave him 3 sixes in verse 18, is because it's the 3rd word of my name. Wav is also the 6th Hebrew alphabet, wherein I told you, let's go to Revelation 13, 18, and let me finish giving you the various shocks of your life. It says here is wisdom, which the people of the earth don't have. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man. The beast is a man, describing Cain and his descendants. And his number is 666. That means 666. Now, this 3 score is 3 times 20 gives you 60. So it's 666. So here you have Cain with a mark put upon him in Genesis chapter 4, verse 15. Let's read Genesis chapter 4, verse 15. If you can't turn as fast as I do, then just write this down with your pencil and paper and feel safe to study this at home for yourself. And the Lord Yahweh said unto Cain, therefore, whosoever slayeth Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold. And the Lord Yahweh set a mark upon Cain, lest any finding him should kill him. So this mark was my divine name. The third word of my name, Wav, was put upon Cain, because Wav is the sixth letter of the Hebrew alphabet, the sixth word. So this sixth word was put on his forehead, and therefore his number became 6. Now this wisdom was taken and hidden and was sealed up from the time of Daniel. And it tells you in Daniel chapter 12, verse 9, that all of this was sealed up and hidden from you. So I'm the only one who can come and loose the seals. Revelation chapter 5, verse 5 tells you that that's the reality, that I'm the only one who can do it.
Yahweh Ben Yahweh, our next question is from a student over at Durham Tech, and he's majoring in real estate. His name is Mark. And Mark says that the loss of land among blacks has been devastating, but in the recent past, whites have left the farmland in a record number. And he wants to know if there is an undercurrent causing this exodus from the farmland.
I just read to you from Genesis chapter 4, where the seed of Cain is under a curse, and that the earth will not yield her strength to them. So their farms and farmlands, they're not yielding their strength. In Genesis chapter 4, verse 6, it's just not yielding. So they are leaving. Now, to yield is not only there's a diminishing in the quality of the life energy force being produced within the seed and the crop, but also the prosperity of the land itself is lost, because they're not meditating in the law day and night, such as in Joshua chapter 1, verse 8. In order for the land to be prosperous for you and for you to be successful, then you must meditate in the law of Yahweh day and night, Joshua 1:8. So that's one of the reasons that they are fleeing from the land. Also, the scriptures teach us that the wicked accumulate great wealth, and it is heaped up and saved for the just. So all of the wealth, where is that? Proverbs chapter 13, around verse 21, 22. Unless you know that. So these are some of the reasons. The excuse can be economic times, the fact that they are greedy. Farmers get greedy, so then they go to the Federal Reserve Bank. They don't know that's where they're going, but through the loan programs and farm subsidy programs, which are loans from banks, it sets up the poor farmer to have his land taken. You see, the bankers don't produce anything. They're able to create money out of thin air. All they have to do is print it. They borrow it from the Federal Reserve System, who has the right to print it. So they print off any infinite number of bills. And then the farmer comes in with collateral. And he goes in with the only real property, which is his land. And that's the collateral. So he places his collateral and signs it over to the banker for some worthless paper, which he goes further to buy some equipment from the son of the Federal Reserve Bank system, or the bankers, who have also produced the equipment with non-existent money created out of thin air. Now the farmer is in debt to pay for something that is dependent upon the God of heaven to make prosperous for him. And if it's a drought or plagues of different insects to eat up the crop, or he decides he doesn't want to bless them for their wickedness, then you have all of these forces of righteousness, the creation, or the good man as they call, doesn't allow his blessings to flow. So So now the farmer has 3 or 4 years straight of crops that just don't quite flourish. Now the bank, who didn't have any assets, now have title to these poor farmers' assets. And then they just simply foreclose. Now they have real property in exchange for non-existent thin air. And those are among the many problems that the farmer is facing and fleeing from to the city, where it's already 15 million unemployed people living under bridges in this country. And that's increasing on a daily basis. So the whole country is under a curse, and you're under a curse now because you're holding me, the son of Yud-Heh-Wav-Heh, the Ark of the Covenant. I am the Ark of the Covenant, the one that was agreed to come. And by persecuting me and holding me in prison, the country is under a curse, under divine plagues, and every aspect of this country shall be destroyed unless I am returned immediately to the citizens of the nation of Yud-Heh-Wav-Heh.
We have a question from a lady in Raleigh, North Carolina. Go ahead, ma'am.
Yes, Yahweh Ben Yahweh, sir. Over the past few years, the government seems to be persecuting black males. And I'm wondering why black leaders, especially political leaders, are not speaking out on their behalf.
Well, the question of destroying the black male is not new to us as the children of Israel. The so-called black man of North America is being destroyed, and the male is an endangered species because of a historical problem that we have had from the day of Moses. It really began in the garden with Adam and Eve, turning away from the tree of life to the tree of good and evil. And when we turned from this, we suffered death. We were kicked out of the garden, and right away, Cain killed the righteous, Baal. That was us. Abel is not just A-B-E-L, but it is also all of the able men. Those are A-B-L-E. And the able men are the genius and the Godhead of this earth, who has always ruled heaven. And by him hitting Cain hitting Abel in the head, then we have been knocked down and put to sleep and killed, and our blood has been shed for 6,000 years. Now, in the day of Moses, it tells you in Exodus chapter 2 that why we were killed. It was because Pharaoh feared us becoming, I'm going to read it to you. It's chapter 1, verse 7. Exodus chapter 1, verse 7. And the children of Israel were fruitful and increased abundantly and multiplied and waxed exceedingly mighty, and the land was filled with them. And then in verse 9, Pharaoh and his said unto his people, Behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. Come, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply more. And it comes to pass that when they're falling out in a war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us. And so get them up out of the land. Then they persecuted them, afflict them, and the more they did, the more we grew. So then they put us in more and more bondage. And finally, he commanded this. He said to the midwives, the king in verse 15, chapter 1, verse 15 of Exodus, and the king of Egypt spake to the Hebrew midwives, of which the name of the one was Shiphrah, and the name of the other Puah. And he said, when you do the office of midwife to the Hebrew women, and see them up on the stools, if it be a son, then ye shall kill him. But if it be a daughter, then she shall live. Now the difference between the Hebrew Israelite midwives in the day of Pharaoh and the wives of us today is in verse 17. But the midwives feared God, Yud-Heh-Wav-Heh, and did not as the king of Egypt commanded him, but saved the men children alive. Now our women today are still the midwives, though you may not be practicing as a doctor, but these are your children. And the king of Egypt has told you, use a condom. The king of America has told you, use birth control, use tubal ligation, use hysterectomy, use UDs, use diaphragms, use abortion, they use germicides, spermicides, and abortion is just another term for murder of an unborn child. And the majority of our women in America are obeying federal America and killing off our children. So we are no longer becoming mighty there. It's not the leadership that is responsible. It's the fact that we turned away from our God, Yudhe-Wahbe. We're breaking his laws. We don't fear Yudhe-Wahbe. Why we don't fear Yudhe-Wahbe? Because we have not known him. He has girded us, but we have not known him. We have not known that he is our God, he is our Father, he can deliver us. We have ignored his law, which is be fruitful and multiply. You're supposed to be having as many children as you can have, as fast as you can have them, and he will provide for you. Because he says this in his holy word. I have never seen the righteous forsaken, nor their children beg bread. Psalms 37:25. So if you're righteous, you can have all the children you want. My mother had 15. I'm the oldest of 15 children. I'm the holy one, born first. And out of that 15, you would have thought if there was anybody who would have suffered, it should have been us. But her family is blessed. All of us have blessed her and my father. I have a baby sister that's the greatest opera star on earth. Very rich. And she's not the only one. Her sons are businessmen. Very rich. And the parents are blessed. Our parents are blessed because of us having a huge family. And if there was any place in town where you're hungry, you could go to a huge family and find food. But where there's only a husband and wife and 1.8 children, 1.5 children, you might find 1 or 2 beans in the refrigerator because they're going for the so-called false prosperity of this world instead of owning the manufacturing and the means of production of this land. So here is the real problem. It's not the male who reached into adulthood and who's trying to compromise his life and survive as a so-called leader. The mothers, the mothers must come back into the fear of Yudhe-Wahbe so you can teach your sons and your daughters the fear of their God, their Father, the Creator. And then you will have men who will defend you and your children forever when they become adults.
And we have one other question here, and this is from Mr. O'Neill Dunn, and he states that I'm among the listening audience, and his question, he states there has been very disturbing weather conditions around the world, such as the recent severe flooding in California, and he states that he recalled you mentioning Yahweh Ben Yahweh on previous programs that these conditions are as a result of your being incarcerated, and he wants you to expound on that further, if you would, sir.
Yes. I repeat again, when the Ark of the Covenant was ever taken from the children of Israel, 1 Samuel chapter 6, you can read about this. You will see in 1 Samuel chapter 6 where every time another nation took the Ark of the Covenant from us, the children of Israel, they suffered plagues and destruction. The entire country suffered plagues and absolute destruction. So I warned America in 1989, 2 years before they put their hands on me, that if they ever did, I never said they could not, I never said they would not, but I warned America, if you put your hands on me, you will find out that Yudhe-Wahbe, Yahweh, controls nature. And I gave this program on West 57th Street and 60 Minutes, which was published several times around this country. So America had warning. So every aspect of the life of America is under plagues, the divine curse of Yudhe-Wahbe, the Creator, and her unemployment is going to be higher. Her businesses are going to continue to fail and get worse. Your airline industry, your automobile industry, there's going to be no chariots running in the street, no means of transportation if you continue to hold me. It's fine, hold me, because you're the ones who are suffering the plagues and the destruction of your entire country. And when it's finally destroyed, you just remember, because of your judgment of me, you bring judgment upon yourself, because I have all power and authority from my Father, Yudhe-Wahbe, to set judgment in this earth, and the judgment you seek for me I'm going to put it right back on you. It's written that when you dig a ditch, you're going to fall into that ditch. Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 8 lets you know that. So the ditch you dig for the righteous, you're digging it for yourself. So what you seek from me, you're bringing it upon yourself. And I warn you again, I'm removing my divine name, words of my name from your forehead, you who are wicked. And you shall know nothing but absolute destruction. And just as Gorbachev went to bed secure, he woke up without a country. That's how fast it was. Noah went to sleep. The people didn't listen, but he went to sleep on the ark. And when he woke up, the children were swimming out there, but they couldn't get in the ark. And my book tells me in Matthew chapter 24, around verse 37, that as it was in the days of Noah, it's going to be that same way today. And it is that same way today. People thought evil continually then. They're thinking evil continually today. They knew not until the flood came and swept them away in the day of Noah. And you shall, the children of Cain, you shall not know until you are swept away to total destruction that your end is here. It's here. You may not see it because you don't believe it. But then no one ever believed that the hand of Yahweh was about to sweep them away. But what makes him so mighty and powerful and majestic and one that you can count on is he keeps his word in every instant. And I'm here as a mercy to you and the people. America, you can be like Nineveh. I'm here to offer you the same offer that was made to Nineveh. Now, in the day of Jonah, Nineveh was the city that Jonah went to. Now, Nineveh repented and was saved from divine destruction. Nineveh repented. Now, my Bible tells me that Nineveh will rise up in judgment against you here on the earth today, including America. Matthew chapter 12, between 38 and 42, you will find that Nineveh is now a witness against you, America, that you can repent and be saved. Or you can be like Sodom and Gomorrah, or you can be like Pharaoh in the Red Sea, or you can be like the people in the days of Noah. Many examples for you. You can be like Babylon. You can be like the Medes and the Persians and the Greek and the Romans, all who fought against Jerusalem, all who ever fought against us, the so-called black men of America who are the children of Israel. Everyone who ever fought against us shall be destroyed. Zechariah chapter 14, verse 12. Read these things for yourself. Make your own decision as to what you shall do. I am here setting judgment in the earth.
And Yahweh Ben Yahweh, my word is on the line here. I promised this student that I would get this question in, and we need to do an extra here, and hopefully you will recap us on the revelation of Robert Rosier, the star witness in the trial of Yahweh, admitting that he lied about he lied on the affidavits that he gave the federal government. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to ask you this question, and hopefully you'll be able to get both of those in the last 7.5 minutes here. Now, this student is from, he's a senior over at NCC, that's North Carolina Central University here in Durham. And he asked if you would please explain how you are going to bring about the government of God that you mentioned on the previous program.
Say that again?
This student wants to know how you are going to bring about the government of God that you mentioned on the previous program that you would do.
All right. I'm bringing it about now. The way in which the government of God, Yahweh, is brought about is a very complex involvement. It's compound complex, in fact. However, synoptically, with 7.5 minutes to cover two subjects, I'll be as brief as I can, but remember, I'm being synoptic. The first step, the number one step, is for the Father to send his Son. The Father's name is Yud-Heh-Wah-Heh. The Son's name is Yud-Heh-Wah-Heh, Bet Nun Sophie, Yud-Heh-Wah-Heh. So step number one, the responsibility of the Son, is to manifest the name of his Father. John chapter 17, verses 5 and 6. That's my purpose. Now, after coming and manifesting the name of my Father, then you gain the knowledge of his Son. Matthew 11:27. Now, after I come and start manifesting his name, then you learn how first you learn who you are in relationship to the Son of Yuhewave, and you learn who you are in relationship to his Father, or to the Father, your Father, Yuhewave. Now, by coming in the name of my Father, I come with his character, I come with his attributes, all of them. I come with his power, I come with his protection and under his protection as his possession. Psalms 118:26. Now, as I demonstrate this reality, then through the miracles that I work at this point of first resurrecting those who are dead to the knowledge of him, Acts 2:22. These miracles of resurrecting the black man of America from his spiritual death, his spiritual blind, deaf, dumb, ignorant, dead condition, into the knowledge of his God and his history and culture, language, name, and land. This is a miracle. These are all miracles that are greater than any performed 1900 years ago, because I have resurrected tens of thousands of the dead. I've healed tens of thousands of blind eyes. I've healed tens of thousands of deaf ears. I've healed tens of thousands of dumb tongues. And I've caused tens of thousands who were lame from their mother's womb to walk and leap as the roll. Now, then, though I made the earth and come and stand in the earth, yet the world does not know me, though I made the world. John 1:10. And though I come to my own, and my own receive me not. John 1:11. I still come. Now, only those that love darkness will flee from me. That's John chapter 3, verse 18. Now, they love darkness rather than the light. But of those of you who are good, the good ones, who are interested in the government de jure, the theocratic government of Yuhewave, the government of Yuhewave, the government of good, you who are interested, then all you have to do is believe on my name and receive my name, and then you will have eternal life. Now, that's John 3:36. Now, what makes my name so important? It's because my name is not separate from my Father. John 5:43. I come in my Father's name. So when you receive my name, Yahweh ben Yahweh in English, remember that's only the English transliteration. And if you want to find out about my Father's name, you look up YAHWEH in your encyclopedia. And if you're a student in college, or you're an intellectual, or you're intellectually honest, you must do this, because I could never respect you claiming you want to follow me and you don't look this up and search it out for yourself. You must be able to prove that I am the son of Yuhewave. And if you think I am not, you cannot be excused for saying you don't believe it. You have to be able to prove that I am not the son of Yuhewave. In either case, you must offer a proof. And I'll be satisfied if you start out to prove that I'm not. I know the conclusion you will come to, but you first must come into the knowledge of Yuhewave, transliterated YHWEH. Now, this is the foundation of the nation of Yuhewave. This is the foundation of government de jure, or the government of Yuhewave, or the kingdom of Yuhewave. This is the foundation. And I hold all the keys to all the seals of the entire book from Genesis to Revelation. That which man cannot think of or conceive in his heart or his mind, that's totally unknown to him, I know, because I come with 360 degrees. And the most learned men on this earth have only been allowed 32, with an honorary 33. That's why he could only deceive 33% of the angels of heaven to go with him. That was a symbol of as much as he would ever be able to get. Okay, and those 33, those 3 plus 3 is 6, right back again to the mark of Cain. That's as much as I can handle at this moment, trying to split the time for answering 2 questions. I believe the second part was to deal with Robert Rozier.
Yes, sir.
Once again, we see, and perhaps you who are of the Godhead, the wise of this planet, those who've been studying in secret for 33 years, who are sitting on the 33rd Council, and others who are enlightened, are correctly initiated, can understand who I am. And as of today, I have loosed you and set you free. When the Son sets you free, you are free indeed. John 8:36. So now I have set you free by removing from Cain and his descendants the mark that I placed on his forehead. Wav, it's gone. Now you who are sitting, who climbed Jacob's ladder to the 14th rung, understand Wav. If you don't, you better study in a hurry because you got to get busy. I'm calling you all out, and you can't resist, or you are not a true son of mine. See, my son. You understand, my son? My son. This character, Robert Rozier, I never allowed him into my council. See, I am the supreme grandmaster of the celestial lodge, architect of the universe, the blessed and only potentate. That's who I am. And I am now calling all of my sons to the square of righteousness. And in order to stand on the square of righteousness, you have to be able to stand 90, upright at 90 degrees. So you have a lot of study to do. You can only come to me to get it, because I'm the great light. And that's it. This fellow, Rozier, I never allowed him to become a part of me. So he tried to become a book, Mason. He tried to become a Cowan and an eavesdropper, and to set up his own. And since I would not receive him because of his wickedness, I knew him and his character, then I would not allow this satanic mindset to be a part of my life. So he has joined with others to try and destroy. It will never work. It will never happen. But I'm sitting in prison. Why? Because it is written that I must be tried and proven. And I am tried and not found wanting.